right. Well, if you recall, I was trying to repair a broken part on my Glencoe disc chisel. And the last time that we met, I was taking it apart. Today, I'm hoping to put it back together. I'm going to take a whole different approach to putting it back. When I took it off, I still had the wheel, the inflated tire was bolted to the hub. I'm starting to think that was a mistake. I'm not starting, I know that was a mistake. It adds a lot of weight. It's not really something you can hold on to because it rotates. So the wheel is off of the rim of the hub because I had to take it to somewhere to get it repaired. I'm going to leave that off until the whole assembly is back onto the chisel plow. Today I'm going to employ the aid of a floor jack. I'm going to wheel a floor jack under here, and plus the jack isn't going to get tired of holding it like my arm will. But the first step, I think, is to get this cylinder pinned back in its hole so that and I can get it out of the way, but at least right now I just have it secured with a rope so that it didn't accidentally fall off of here, and I don't think that's very safe. So I have this pin pulled out, and I'm going to untie the rope. Oh, and then this has to go in here. Fortunately for me, the hydraulic hoses being attached are helping support the weight, so I'm not really lifting this whole thing by myself. Oh, I forgot a washer. Okay, step number one is don't forget anything. I think this washer was on the inside. There. Okay, and don't drop it on the ground. Well, let's see if we get the pin to start through the hole. Move the cylinder over. Whoop, too far. That's how that goes. We have a hammer, and we'll love tap it back. Okay. Now remember, I did not take the other side apart, which gives me something as a reference point. I can look at how it was originally assembled in case my memory is short, which many days it is. And so I know that there's two holes here, and the cylinder goes in the lower of the two holes. You would pin this stationary piece in place, which would hold the plow in the raised position without relying on the hydraulic cylinder. And that will pin into this upper hole. But I think we can wait until we first get the wheel in place down here, or the arm in place first, because if we try to get that in here now, I think it's just going to add something that I can bump my head on while I'm working. All right, so now I'm going to move my equipment into position. I'm going to move my floor jack into here and get the arm under here so that we can begin the process, okay? All right, it's taken a few minutes here, but I think I've got everything in position now to start the process. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to have to put some grease on these pins where this rotates on. They fit into a collar that bolts up to the frame. So I marked these with a letter O for outside, and the greaser goes down towards the bottom so that you can grease them. Well, got it all over my fingers anyway. Maybe that's the way to spread it on there, huh? We'll just use our fingers. Just squirt it on there and rub it around. brings back your childhood where you used to get the finger paint or get messy. Well, farming's a little bit like that. You get messy. Fortunately, sometimes I think ahead and I have a rag in my back pocket. Looks different than at the beginning of the video in terms of finish and color. Of course, when I received it back, there was lots of shiny metal because it's been welded where it was cracked, and it's been reinforced with another plate of steel. And I didn't want to see shiny new metal turn to rust. So I thought before installation was the proper time to put a good coat of paint on it. I went to the local home improvement store here. And fortunately, they sell all sorts of stuff. And they had quart cans of implement enamel. And I purchased Alice Chalmers Orange because that was the only orange they had. And it didn't seem right to put IH Red or John Deere Green where an orange color should be. So this is what I got. Nice shiny orange. Rust-Oleum, so hopefully it will be a durable finish that will last many years. So the jack was a little higher than it needed to be, even when it was in the fully lowered position, so I couldn't use it as such. I had to scrape. If you can see around here, the floor of my building is a crushed ag lime. It's just a material crushed up limestone. It has a lot of powder in it and little chips of limestone rock, and it's something that you can scrape around and level off. So when I have a spot like this that I needed to lower it down, I just took a block of wood and I scraped some more away. Now I have to try and get this into position so that I can actually put a bolt through the hole. There we go. Hitting a chisel plow shank, which didn't help me, but now I'm jacking. Up we go. Oh. Okay, now we're moving in the right direction. I had to go to my shop and take this part here, this collar, and run it on the bench grinder. I smoothed off the back side where it contacts the mounting frame up here. You can see at one time it was painted green inside. This is the way it rides, so the weight of the wheel hanging in there wears the bottom. And then this side, the person who had done the repair for me had already did a little bit of grinding on here, but I ground some more off around this surface. So then I have to wash the part, and I just simply use diesel fuel. Now I've coated it inside again with grease, and I've also coated that bare edge that I had to grind off. But I think the problem was caused by the weld over here. I needed 2 inches of clearance, and when I put this collar on, it's 2 inches. If it binds there, that's going to be a sore spot when you're raising and lowering. It could eventually cause some type of damage. So brace my foot in here again. Transfer the, wow, I'm getting weaker as the day goes on here. Okay, I've got the part on the jack. And I lean it over here and try to get in line with my holes. raise it with the jack. I just went with a grade 5. There, I got one bolt in, that worked well. So I picked up a little bag here, buy them by the pound at hardware stores. It's the bolt is a 1/2 inch bolt, coarse thread. And the matching nut takes a 3/4 inch socket. There's that one there. That's a good start. At least I know it won't fall out on me. Put the lock washer on there. And thread the nut on clockwise. Okay. And on the inside, the same thing. Aside from having to grind on that part, I actually think this is going rather smoothly. Although I did think I'd be finished by now. I think I need to remove the jack because there's got a little bit of a bind there. A little bit lower. There. That's what it needed to be. Whee! Kind of working blind. Feeling with my hand on getting the thread started. Okay, threads are started. Oop, there's my forehead, banging my head around. So, all 4 mounting bolts are in there and finger tight. Our piece swings freely like a pendulum here. So, once I get those bolts tightened up, we're going to mount or pin the cylinder. Look at the other side. So the cylinder goes in this upper hole here. So we'll get it pinned to the cylinder. And then the part, this rigid part that holds it into transport is going to pin into this hole here. A ratchet. And as I said, they're 3/4 inch. Here's a box wrench. Where do you suppose I went with the socket? All right. I have conducted an extensive, exhaustive search. Come up empty-handed. Some reason or other, I found another use for that socket or something, and then I didn't bring it back. All kinds of sockets, not a 3/4. I have 2 box wrenches. That does work. It's just a lot slower. Someday I'm going to invest in a set of box ratchet wrenches. You ever seen those at a hardware store? I think those look like they would really come in handy sometimes. Because the box wrench has a low profile. And with the ratchet head, you can see just the ratchet alone is a lot. And then you add the socket onto that. So it's like sometimes you're working in a spot where you really need to fit in a tight area. But you also, it's backwards. You also like to get it done quickly, so you want a ratchet. So someday, when I've saved up enough money, I'm going to invest in a set. Wow, okay, well that might take a little bit more than that yet though. But at least they're not going to fall out until I get something else. kind of needed an open end on this side anyway, because it's got another piece from the shank here that mounts to the frame, and it's close enough that it would prevent a socket from going on, I think, with the longer bolt. Because remember, this part, it's a moving part. If anything I do in mounting it up causes it to not move, then I did it wrong. But it's still free to swing. This smooth steel rod here that goes back and forth in the bore of the cylinder, it will turn in there like that. So you have to turn it so that this is called a clevis, so that this clevis lines up when I pull this up. Wooey! That's a little. Oh. So here's the pin. Oh, that's on the wrong side. I want a washer on the inside. The clevis from the cylinder is a little bigger than the or a little wider than the thickness of the piece on the arm here. So I'm going to take that off and see if a magic hammer does the trick. Okay. I may have done that the wrong way. I should have rewatched the first part of this video, because maybe I was supposed to put this pin in from the other side. Okay, lunchtime is over. We're back in action. Okay. We've got to put this last piece on here, and then the wheel. That'll be the moment of truth. So this piece slides into here. And then it's got to go into this hole here. Come on out of there. There we go. And this one goes through here. A little trouble with that one, huh? There we go. Lift up a little bit. Put a hairpin in that. I need to go find a screwdriver so that I can spread my cotter keys so they won't fall out. Alright, pliers right there. That'll be adequate. Looks like it's time to find that wheel and put it on here. Alright, here's the tire. I had taken it outside to the hydrant and I hit it with a garden hose to kind of get some of the dirt off it. Probably going to be a trick to get that in there with the jack, huh? Here's a funny story. You're going to laugh. I found the 3/4 inch socket. I thought, you know, I'm going to need the lug bolts. And I remembered that in the first part of this video, when I took this wheel off, it was still attached. So I took it up to the shop where I had an air compressor and an impact wrench. The lug bolts are 3/4 inch. I had taken the socket from down here back up to the shop, used it on the impact wrench, and then left it there. absent-mindedness. Okay, I've got 2 bolts holding it on there now. And the process involved jacking this jack up 2 more clicks. So I've got 2 bolts started just with my fingers. Here's the other 4 bolts. There's 6 that goes in here. I brought along a little oil can, and I've been putting a little oil on these threads just because, again, they work in a dirty environment and that can cause some trouble with turning the threads. I got number 5 started. And the last one. Nice thing about the limestone here, crushed lime on the floor. If I spill a drop of oil, no one knows. Righty tighty, lefty loosen. There we go. The rim has a U-shaped piece of metal welded to it there where the valve stem sticks through. That's to protect the valve stem from damage if you're out in the field plowing. You don't know what you might turn up out there. You might catch a stick or something. And so that's just a little added protection so you don't unexpectedly end up with a flat tire. I'm still going to take this up to the shop where the air compressor is, and I'll finish these with an impact wrench. Sometimes you can check your bearing if you can spin the tire like this. And you can listen carefully. Seems to spin really free. Doesn't take much to keep it going for a long time. I don't hear any growling or scraping noise. So anyway, I think we're good to go. I'm going to let this down off the jack, and then we'll take it up to the shop, as I said, and use the impact wrench to make the final tightening on those 6 lug bolts to make sure that we have that wheel secure. believe our project has come to a conclusion, a satisfactory conclusion. At the beginning of this video, I apologize, but I didn't actually have a tripod, so You didn't get to see a lot of the process. I showed you things, but I didn't actually have a way to hold the camera and turn the wrench, so you missed some of the dismantling. But I took it off, took the wheel arm off with the wheel on. I put the repaired part back on minus the wheel. I had the wheel off while it was being repaired, and I just left the wheel off, and I had much better success, a much easier time. And I thank you for watching this video. I surely hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please press the like button and let me know that you enjoyed the video. I operate a small farm, and I have to operate with limited capital, so I have lots of old equipment, and there are many more repairs that I need to do on various pieces of equipment. So you saw how this one turned out. There's some footage there of the machine in operation today. It's back on its feet, and it's able to go out and work in the field. If the rest of my projects turn out as good, well, I'll be one happy camper. Again, I appreciate you watching my video, and check back, and hopefully I'll have some more informative videos to come. One hapless farmer, that's what I am. Thank you.